Good evening, fellow YouTubers. As you guys know, this is the pay-per-view review of Night of Champions, which just recently went off the air. Now, Night of Champions overall, I thought, was a pretty good pay-per-view. It was a decent pay-per-view. However, it was not the best pay-per-view of all time. Let's start it off, shall we? Our first match of the night was the Intercontinental Championship between Mr. Dolph Ziggler and Mr. Kofi Kingston. This overall was a pretty good match. I honestly was sick and tired of seeing these two guys wrestle one-on-one over and over and over again. However, I'm glad they did it at this pay-per-view. I'm glad it's over. Well, hopefully the rivalry's over, at least. It was a pretty good match. Vicky Guerrero got in the way, as always. But Kofi Kingston hits the Trouble in Paradise. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and new Intercontinental Champion, Kofi Kingston. Next, we had probably one of the worst matches of the night. Probably, in my opinion, the worst match of the night. We had CM Punk versus The Big Show. Now, this was a pretty good match, if I have to admit. Oh, psych. I'd be lying if I said that. But it was a bad match. I didn't enjoy it at all. Big Show completely buried CM Punk, in my opinion. Thus, having The Big Show winning it. And your winner, Big Show. Really, WWE? Do we have to see The Big Show non-stop pounding on CM Punk? What has CM Punk ever done bad since WWE that he just deserved this? One year he's a world champion, the next year he's been buried. But anyway, let's go on to the next match, which was probably one of the best matches of the night. The United States Champion match between the current champion, The Miz, versus Daniel Bryan. This was a very good match. I'm glad WWE gave this a lot of time. There was a lot of good spots in this match. I liked it. Daniel Bryan made The Miz tap out and become the new United States Champion. Now, to be honest with you, I'm kind of 50-50 about this. I'm glad Daniel Bryan won this because he deserves it. He's worked so hard in his wrestling career, and here he is, comes to the WWE and becomes United States Champion. I'm glad. And also, hopefully, he'll defend the title more than The Miz did when he was the United States Champion. However, there's one part I don't like about this. What happens to The Miz now? Do we see a rematch at Hell in a Cell between Daniel Bryan defends it against The Miz, and Daniel Bryan wins it, and possibly The Miz cashing it in at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in the main event in the Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship? Could happen, but we have to wait and see. But kudos to both these guys. They did a very good match. Next, we had our Lumberjill match, Unification for the Women's/Divas Championship between Michelle McCool, who was the Women's Champion, versus the Divas Champion, Melina. Now, the Lumberjills really didn't even do much in this match. All they did was scream at each other, hair pull, and typical diva stuff. But you know what? Us guys, we love seeing that. But the overall wrestling, this was actually probably one of the best Divas pay-per-view matches of the year. I'm serious when I say this. It actually wasn't that bad. I thought it would honestly be worse. But you know what? It was pretty decent in my opinion. Michelle McCool does pick up the victory and becomes, I guess you could say, unified women's champion. Now, in all seriousness, let me just think of this. If she wasn't having sex with The Undertaker, would she be women's champion? I don't think so. But anyway, it was still a good match. I'll give both of them credit. Next, we had our no-holds-barred match for the World Heavyweight Championship between Kane versus The Undertaker. I liked how The Undertaker showed that he still somewhat has it. You know, he showed his athletic ability. You know, he was just like, for a while, it looked like he was kind of flying all over the place. You know, it was a good match. I mean, it wasn't as good as I thought it'd be, but it was a decent match. Kane did pick up the victory after hitting the Tombstone Piledriver and retaining his World Heavyweight Championship, which means there's probably going to be a rematch at Hell in a Cell, for the World Heavyweight Championship, and there's a very good chance of us seeing The Undertaker becoming World Heavyweight Champion once again. And again, we'll see The Undertaker and Michelle McCool being champions. We've never seen this before. Next, we have a Tag Team Turmoil match for the Tag Team Championships. We had the current champions of Hart Dynasty versus the Usos versus Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov versus Mark Henry and Evan Bourne versus the team of Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. This was a very not so good match. I didn't really enjoy this match. Yes, I'm glad WWE showed that they had more than 2 tag teams in this whole entire company. That's kind of a plus side. But it was just too much havoc in the ring. It was just, it was too much of a cluster. However, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre did pick up the victory and became your new tag team champions. So congratulations to Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. And last but not least, our main event, the six-pack challenge elimination match for the WWE Championship between Sheamus, John Cena, Edge, Chris Jericho, Wade Barrett, and Mr. Randall Keith Orton, Randy Orton. This was probably the best match of the night, in my opinion. It was pretty funny how the crowd was booing John Cena. Again, very interesting. However, Chris Jericho was the first one eliminated, which begs the people thinking, is he really leaving World Wrestling Entertainment? If he is really leaving WWE, that's pretty sad. But honestly, to myself, I just think it's a storyline. I think for now, he's going to be quote-unquote fired and leaving WWE, and then come back when SmackDown goes to Sci-Fi in a couple of weeks and surprise us all. It should be interesting to watch, however. Then you had Edge being eliminated. Wade Barrett eliminated John Cena, which means John Cena actually went over on a pay-per-view for the first time in a while. Thank you, John Cena, for having the guts to go over in this pay-per-view. Then we had Sheamus eliminating Wade Barrett. Then we had Randy Orton. That's right, Randy Orton hits his finishing move, the RKO, and becoming your new WWE champion. Now, before anyone asks me, to be honest with you, I'm kind of iffy about this, and I'm a Randy Orton fan. I like Randy Orton. I've liked Randy Orton basically ever since he came to the WWE. I always knew he had something good in him. However, I'm not one of those bandwagon fans that are going over saying he's going to be the next John Cena. If he does become the next John Cena popularity and all the little kids like him, I'll be kind of iffy about it. But as of now, I'm still a Randy Orton fan, and I congratulate Randy Orton for his victory. I don't think the whole celebration was necessary, though. He acted like it was at WrestleMania. It wasn't WrestleMania. It was Night of Champions. But but guys, what is the title name of the pay-per-view? Night of Champions. And what did Jeff Hardy do last year when he became World Heavyweight Champion? Acted like it was WrestleMania. So I think it's only fair. But anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this pay-per-view. I thought it was alright. Overall, I gave it 7 out of 10. It was okay. It was nothing great. But you know what? I thought it was a decent pay-per-view, and I thought World Wrestling Entertainment did a very decent job at this. So, if you guys like to give your opinion on this pay-per-view, please feel free to comment down below. And for all of you who haven't known, I am done with Skype. Skype gave me one very nasty virus. I am not happy with Skype. So, I will never use Skype ever again. No, I am not pulling a Brett Favre here. I will never use Skype ever again. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the pay-per-view. Talk to you guys later. Please comment down below. And thank you for your time. And by the way, if you haven't noticed by the tone of my voice, I'm trying to make this a PG related video due to me being sick and tired of WWE World Wrestling Entertainment being PG. So if you got a good kick out of this, I thank you for getting a kick out of this. That's why I had the cheesy intro in the beginning of the video. By the way, talk to y'all later. Y'all.